Just a question, how many of you are actually Red Hat resellers? Okay. VMware resellers, partners? Okay. Acronis partners? Okay, so we've got a little bit of everything in the room, so plenty of opportunity for all of us. I've taken a couple of slides at the beginning that were presented by our new CEO, Alex Pinchev, who joined us in January. And for those of you who know that Red Hat, Alex was the VP of Sales and Marketing at Red Hat, from Red Hat being a 25 million US company to being over $1 billion. So he was there for a good part of 10 years. But effectively, he positioned the company recently at the Red Herring Conference in Amsterdam, where we're one of the 100 fastest growing companies in Europe, as providing data protection for physical, virtual and cloud. So we're helping organisations move from their existing environments into their current and future states with next generation of backup and DR. And for those of you who can't see, there's VMware, Hyper-V, Parallel, Citrix, Red Hat, Windows, Linux. So we're pretty much supplying a solution to back up and help recover from all these platforms. And our differentiation, I'll talk a little bit about some research we did at the end of last year called the Global Disaster Recovery Index. But most of the organisations we researched are using 3 to 5 different DR and backup solutions for physical, for virtual, for migration and so on. So our solution is really to provide an integrated approach, so a single console, a single tool. This ultimately lowers the cost of ownership and recovery times for organisations. And as far as the opportunity in the marketplace, where we sit today, we're in about a $6 billion market space globally with data protection and recovery, versus all our competitors in the marketplace. But the opportunity moving forward is really in the storage software and the virtual ecosystem, big data storage worldwide, cloud backup and file services, and even backup appliances. So this is becoming a fairly substantial market. So when we see organisations cutting costs or keeping costs flat, we're also looking at moving costs and budgets to other areas. We're going to deliver more efficiency and our growth areas as well. So all up, if you took the current market for backup and data protection, moved into storage optimization, big data, integration of mobile and appliances, it's a fairly substantial growth market. And it's the same for the UK as it is for everywhere else. So just a quick overview on Acronis for those of you who don't know us. We actually protect over 200,000 virtual machines today. We have solutions that have been doing this for a few years, and we've got some new solutions I'll talk about in a moment as well. We've moved nearly 1 million servers between physical, virtual and cloud environments. So we've got a fairly good creed and good customer base of people that are actually doing this. In fact, close to 200,000 business customers today, thousands in the UK, many across Northern Europe and Middle East, which is my territory. And it is primarily a channel-driven model, so all of our business goes through our key distributors like Interactive and the partners that buy Interactive. And they provide our services, our skills, they do the sales training, they take our technical certifications, and we really rely on you guys for our success. We also have consumer solutions as well, which is where we started. And to date, including the consumer solutions and the business solutions, we have something like 2.5 million plus users around the world. And we've translated to many languages and we sell into 90 countries. So we're fairly omnipresent as far as DR and backup solutions go. 800 employees, 400 of those are based in Moscow and in Eastern Europe doing the development. So everything we develop is purely developed by Acronis. We haven't acquired any of our technologies, hence why we can provide this integrated approach. Just a little bit of background on the DR index, which we've done twice now. And what this does, it gives a barometer on people's confidence in their disaster recovery capabilities across the globe. And this year we did 6,000 IT managers. The previous year we did 2,000, and we expanded to the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and Saudi as well, as far as a fast-growing marketplace. And what we did is we asked over 30 questions of these companies. And we took the top 11 questions and created a confidence index rated from +5, yes, I'm confident, I strongly agree, to -5, I'm not very confident, I don't agree at all. And no surprises, the Germans and the Dutch are at the top. The Germans being very efficient, very process-oriented, very manufacturing-oriented, so everything needs to be up and running. And the French and Italians are at the bottom. Manana, don't care, go for a long lunch, whatever they do in those countries. In the middle, you've got the UK, Australia, and the US. Interestingly, not so confident English being the language of the internet, there's lots of legacy, there's lots of pressure on organisations economically to deliver. This index is available for download from our website, and I can provide you the link or the report for anybody that wants it later on. Some of the key takeaways I think which are really interesting is on average in these 6,000 organisations, and these organisations from 0 to 1,000 users. So it will be a global definition of SMB, although 1,000 users in the UK is a fairly substantial organisation. On average, each company is producing 40 terabytes of new data per year. So this is fairly chaotic and difficult for organisations to manage. Another key statistic is that this year for the first time we see virtualization adoption overtaking in SMBs overtaking it for the enterprise. So the enterprises have kind of gone past the 50% of virtualization workloads, but in SMB it's going to increase by 21% this year, up to about 30% of SMB servers. So it's a very rich opportunity, and we've been doing events with Red Hat and with VMware, and we know that that SMB market space is largely unvirtualized. They're mostly in the physical world, so big opportunity for partners working in that space as well as the enterprise. What's also interesting about virtual data is organisations don't back it up as often as physical, or quite often they don't even back up their virtual machines. They think it has some sort of magical Harry Potter-like quality where they just wave a magic wand and hey presto, it's backed up. But the reality is it's exactly the same qualities as a physical machine. It's just encapsulated in a file, in a VMDK. Or a Red Hat virtualization machine, or a Citrix, or a whatever else. Quick recovery there. That's why I'm the backup business, right? The monetary value of the data is the same on the virtual servers as it is on the physical, yet they see it as having different qualities. And ultimately, the organisations that are backing it up, at least 50% plus, are using separate backup tools and recovery tools for their virtual versus their physical environments. And ultimately, the dilemma for these organisations is that they would like a single utility or tool set to do it all. And enter Acronis, right? So we have a couple of solutions. We have the Advanced Server ABR11, Advanced Backup and Recovery, which released about a year ago, and also the Virtual Edition. I'll also talk about a specific VMware solution because we can't ignore the VMware marketplace because it is a huge marketplace. So with these solutions, what we do is we provide an integrated approach or a unified platform where we do a single pass backup. A lot of our competitors will do one copy for the image, and we would call that disaster recovery. So you take an image of that machine, it's a bare metal, we would call it BMR, bare metal recovery, does Windows or Linux, does patches, files, applications, everything on it. So should that machine die, or you have a fire or a flood or whatever happens, blue screens, you can automatically reboot that machine, and in minutes you're up and running from where you left off, or hours, or depends how long. Or if you don't have that, typically what you're doing is getting another machine, you're reinstalling Windows, you're trying to put all the patches on, applications and so on, and this can take days or weeks. So that's pretty quick. The other piece of it is the data protection piece, so the granular capability to recover a file, a folder, an email, an Exchange, PST, and so on. So whether it's a disk, a file, if it's a virtual machine, Exchange, SQL, or you're going to tape or disk storage, even to cloud or data centers, the centralized solution, this backup capability, allows you to recover in all these different styles of environments. So this is why we talk about the integrated, unique solution, which kind of does, one size fits all. And again, across multiple hypervisor environments, across Windows and Linux, particularly Red Hat, got loads of Red Hat customers, and so on. So it's a fairly comprehensive platform. So probably what we're really here to talk about today is the Virtual Edition piece. And the gentleman asked about our migration capabilities, and that's probably the key story with Rev today. And we're working with Red Hat on many opportunities. We've got existing customers where we've helped do physical to virtual migrations. So we've taken physical Linux environments, we've turned that physical machine into a Rev VM, and we even assist in migrating VMware virtual machines to Rev virtual machines as well. And I've got a case study, the Duke Cancer Institute, which I'll talk about slightly, which was also on Hitesh's slide before. But what we'll do in this new world of dual hypervisors and multi-hypervisors will allow you to support Rev, vSphere, Hyper-V and so on from a single backup and recovery tool. There's a centralized management, so we integrate with Rev Manager. We auto-discover Rev VMs. We can remotely deploy Acronis agents onto Linux and Windows VMs. And I talked about the DR and the data protection capabilities. So it's a pretty unique tool set, and we are certified by Red Hat, and we are a very close partner with Alex continually reminding me how good Red Hat is and how we need to be open source and how important Red Hat are. We just don't have a choice. We have to go there. So, and we are big time because the opportunity is now there. So what we're doing with accelerating Red Hat virtualization, we're addressing the key migration and business continuity challenges. We talked about the migration tools. And we have a trial version which includes 3 free migrations of production workloads to Rev. And we're one of the most downloaded solutions on the Red Hat Marketplace. So if you go to marketplace.redhat.com/Rev, there's a bunch of third-party solutions. And what's really important for Rev is the ecosystem and the community of partners that work with them to make this, big time and popular in the marketplace. And so we're very enthusiastic and keen on this opportunity. In fact, on Monday, myself and one of our Red Hat and Acronis partners and our engineers are with the Red Hat architects with Jeremy Brown and his team. Is that you? Okay, I haven't met you before, so. Educating and showing them some demonstrations on the migration tool set. So the architects are working with us big time, and at the moment we've got a big proof of concept going in the Netherlands with a cloud-based provider around Rev and migration and providing images into the cloud and so on. So there's some really interesting opportunities out there today. But fundamentally, this slide just goes through, the life cycle, migration, discovery, protection, recovery, and so on. So we'll be in there on Monday, and we're continually working with Red Hat and the guys there to make this happen. As I said, the Duke Cancer Institute, it says we addressed all the issues that they required. They had 30 virtual iron VMs, and they had 15 VMware 3.x virtual machines. We helped migrate across to 45 Red Hat and Windows VMs on Rev. So that's just a small example of one of the scenarios we've got. There's another big government body in the US that's just done a proof of concept with us, and we've just closed a deal with Red Hat in the US, and we're working on various others across Europe. So it's definitely out there and happening. There are reference sites and customers doing this today. So you're not the first, you're not at the bleeding edge, but we're really starting to make that market happen. I have to mention this solution because VMware is a big opportunity, and the VMware community is also a very closed community and very proprietary, and typically they want solutions that work from who here in the room has heard of Veeam software? A few people? Okay. So this is largely a competitive solution to Veeam, and it is selling extremely well. It's priced per CPU. The virtual edition is priced per host. So you buy one license per host. Doesn't matter how many virtual machines you have on that host. You just pay for that single license. With this, it's per, as the guys would say, the RAM tax or so on, but you're paying per CPU. So you're paying slightly more depending on how many CPUs you have. But it's best of breed for vSphere. We've introduced some really nice functionality in this tool. Again, it's migration, backup, and recovery. You can deploy in minutes. It's got a nice web interface. It's agentless backup. You can recover an entire ESXi host, exchange items or specific files from this, and it creates an exact image backup of an entire VM, and you can actually restore from the backup. So you can restore a virtual machine from the backup. And there's a couple of ways you can do it via Windows host or via a virtual appliance. And you can reliably migrate physical to virtual machines. So the top new features would be the vCenter integration. As we integrate with the Rev Manager, we do replications. So you could create an incrementally updated copy of a VM from another host, so it's keeping a near copy of that. We talked about exchange item, recovery, bare metal. And we also have the ability from all our tools to click a button and create an automated disaster recovery plan. So people don't actually have to document everything they're doing. Press a button, it gives you a step-by-step outline of everything you need to recover a VM or a file or a system and so on. So from a documentation and the value you can add as a partner, say, oh, we took hours to do this, but you just press a button and do it, that's a very chargeable item. So, in 20 minutes, more or less, it's a great market opportunity. There's definitely the dual multi-hypervisor opportunity. There's the specific Rev opportunity, the specific VMware opportunity. We're fairly proven and recognised. The unified platform with ABR 11 and the virtual edition, particularly for Rev migration as you're starting to bring customers on board. VM Protect 7 if you're looking for a pure VMware play. And ultimately, it's up to you guys, and we rely on you guys to make it happen for us. So without you, we really are not the success. We don't have the opportunity in the market that we have today. So